Welcome to the overview video for UFC Qatar with the main event between Arman Tsarukyan and Dan Hooker. On this card there will be a total of 14 fights, and for every fight on this card we'll go over all the winner picks and method of victory predictions that have been made by the UFC Predictions Channels on YouTube. And we start at the bottom of this card for the first fight of the night, which is between Marek and Denzel Freeman in the heavyweight division. And both of these fighters are making their UFC debut, so no stats or pictures of these fighters. And the favorite fighter in odds is Denzel Freeman with -200. And Marek is the underdog with +165. And most of the YouTube prediction channels are picking Denzel Freeman to win 54 out of 68 for 80%. And the best predictors, the channels that are highlighted in green who have the highest return on investment with all of their picks in 2025, all of them have picked Denzel Freeman with 4 out of 4 for 100%. And the best favorite predictors, the channels who have the highest return on investment with their picks on favorite fighters in odds, pick the favorite fighter in odds, Denzel Freeman, 5 out of 5 for 100%. And the best underdog predictors, the channels with the highest ROI on underdog picks, have picked the underdog Marek only 1 out of 4, so they do not have a lot of faith in this underdog. And for the method of victory predictions, we have 4 channels predicting a KO TKO win for Marek but most channels are predicting a KO TKO win for Denzel Freeman, which is picked by 29 out of 41 channels for 71%. 3 channels are picking Marek to win via submission, and finally we have 5 channels picking Denzel Freeman to win via decision. And the best method of victory predictors, the channels with the highest ROI with their method of victory predictions, they pick Denzel Freeman to win by KO TKO 2 out of 4, which is also the most likely outcome according to the oddsmakers with odds of +135. For the next fight we go to the welterweight division for a fight between Nicolas Dalby and Saygid Izagakhmaev. Izagakhmaev is making his UFC debut and Nicolas Dalby won 3 out of his last 5 fights but lost his last 2. Despite making his UFC debut, Izagakhmaev is the huge favorite with -330 in average odds, and the underdog is Nicolas Dalby with +260. And also most of the YouTube prediction channels are picking Izagakhmaev to win this fight. 65 out of 70 channels pick him to win for 93%. And he's also a favorite in picks by the best predictors with 4 out of 5 and the best favorite predictors also 4 out of 5. And the underdog Nicolas Dalby is picked by 2 out of 5 best underdog predictors. So still some faith in this underdog. And for the method of victory predictions we have 1 channel predicting a KO TKO win for Nicolas Dalby and 9 for Saygid Izagakhmaev. 9 channels predict Izagakhmaev to win via submission, and for a decision win we have 3 channels going with Nicolas Dalby, but most of the channels are predicting a decision win for Saygid Izagakhmaev, which is picked by 25 out of 45 channels for 55%. And the best MOV predictors are split between a KO TKO win or a decision win for Saygid Izagakhmaev, which are both picked 2 out of 4. And also the odds makers think that the most likely outcome is a decision win for Saygid Izagakhmaev with odds of +150. The next fight is between Nurullo Aliev and Shem in the lightweight division. And here we have another fighter, Shem who's making his UFC debut on this card. And Aliev has fought 3 times for the UFC and won all 3 of his fights. And Aliev is the favorite with -290, and with +240 Shem is the underdog. And Aliev is the big favorite in picks by YouTube prediction channels. 63 out of 69 channels predict that he will win this fight for 91%. And also most of the best predictors are predicting Aliev to win with 4 out of 5 for 80%. And he's even a bigger favorite in picks by the best favorite predictors with 5 out of 5 for 100%. And the underdog Shem is only picked by 1 out of 5 of the best underdog predictors. And for this fight, not a single channel has predicted that this fight will end in a finish. And all 44 channels that made method of victory predictions are predicting that this fight will go to the scorecards. But almost all of them are expecting Aliev to get his hands raised, with 42 out of 44 and only 2 for Shem And the best MOV predictors have a 3 out of 4 for Aliev via decision. For the next one we go to the middleweight division for a fight between Ismail Naurdiev and Loder. Naurdiev won 2 out of his last 5 fights and Loder has won 1 fight out of his last 2. And in odds this fight is pretty close. Ismail Naurdiev is the slight favorite with -135, and with +110 Loder is the underdog. And also in picks by the YouTube prediction channels this fight is pretty close. But here the underdog is the slight favorite in picks. 38 out of 71 channels pick him to win for 53.5%. But he's a bigger favorite in picks by the best predictors with 4 out of 5 for 80%. And the favorite fighter in odds, Ismail Naurdiev, is picked by the best favorite predictors 3 out of 5. but the underdog Ryan Loder is also picked by the best underdog predictors 3 out of 5. So in odds and in picks, this fight is close everywhere, except by the best predictors, which heavily favor Ryan Loder for now. But as you know, more predictions are coming in over the next few days, so things might look different when more predictions have come in from the best predictors and the best favorite and underdog predictors. And you can get access to these daily updates by becoming a member on my Patreon. A link can be found in the video description. And for the method of victory predictions, we have 11 channels predicting a KO TKO win for Naurdiev and 8 for Loder. No one expects a submission win in this fight. And for a decision win, we have 9 for Ismail Naurdiev and 13 for Ryan Loder. So here again, it's also pretty close. But the best method of victory predictors 2 out of 4 are going with a KO TKO win for Ryan Loder. But according to the odds makers, the most likely outcome in this fight is a KO TKO win for Ismail Naurdiev or a decision win for him, with odds of plus 295 and plus 290. And next we have a fight between Bekzat Almakhan and Aleksandre Topuria, and both of them have just arrived in the UFC. Almakhan has 2 fights and lost one of them and won the other one. And the brother of Ilia Topuria, Aleksandre, won his first fight in the UFC. And also this fight, just like the previous fight, is really close in odds. Aleksandre Topuria is a slight favorite with minus 120 and with plus 100 Bekzat Almakhan is the underdog. And in picks by the YouTube Predictions Channels, this fight is also really close, just like the previous fight. Topuria is the slight favorite with 38 out of 71 channels predicting he will win for 53.5%. But he's a bigger favorite in picks by the best predictors and the best favorite predictors with 4 out of 5 for 80%. And the slight underdog Bekzat Almakhan is picked by the best underdog predictors 3 out of 5. But when the odds are so close, you have to be careful with using the picks from the best favorite and underdog predictors. And for the method, we have 7 channels predicting a KO TKO win for Bekzat Almakhan and 4 for Topuria. 0 channels are predicting a submission win for Almakhan, but 3 for Topuria. And 10 channels are predicting a decision win for Almakhan, but most channels are going with a decision win for Aleksandre Topuria, which is picked by 22 out of 46 channels for 48%. But 2 out of 4 of the best MOV predictors are going with a submission win for Topuria. And here we see a difference between the prediction channels and the odds makers, because the most likely outcome for this fight, according to the odds makers, is a KO TKO win for Bekzat Almakhan with odds of plus 205. And the next fight is in the flyweight division between Tagir Ulanbekov and Kyoji Horiguchi. Tagir is on a 4-fight winning streak out of his last 5 fights. And Kyoji's last fight in the UFC was 9 years ago, which you can also see from the picture from UFC.com, which also looks like a picture from 9 years ago and looks a lot more pixelated and lower quality. The favorite fighter in this matchup is Tagir Ulanbekov with odds of minus 200, and with plus 165, Kyoji Horiguchi is the underdog. And also this fight, just like the previous 2, is very close in picks by the YouTube prediction channels. And the underdog, Kyoji Horiguchi, is the slight favorite and is picked by 36 out of 70 channels for 51.4%. But he's a much bigger favorite in picks by the best predictors and he's picked 4 out of 5 for 80%. And the favorite fighter in odds, Tagir Ulanbekov, is picked by the best favorite predictors 0 out of 5. And the underdog, Kyoji, is picked by the best underdog predictors 4 out of 5 for 80%. So this fight is only close in picks by the YouTube predictions overall, but the best predictors and the best favorite and underdog predictors heavily favor Kyoji, which goes against the odds makers who have Tagir Ulanbekov as the favorite. Both fighters are picked by 1 channel each to win by a KO or TKO. 1 channel has picked Tagir Ulanbekov to win via submission and 0 for Kyoji, but almost every channel expects that this fight will go to a decision, with 20 out of 41 for Tagir and 18 for Kyoji. But when we look at the best MOV predictors, they go against the best predictors and the best favorite and underdog predictors, because all 4 of them are expecting Tagir Ulanbekov to win via a decision, which is also the most likely outcome according to the odds makers with odds of plus 115. And then we go to the light heavyweight division for a fight between Abdul Rakhman Yakhyaev and Rafael Sarkuri. Abdul has won 1 fight by KO TKO in Dana White's Contender Series, and Rafael has fought 3 times for the UFC but lost all 3 of them. And with average odds of minus 1340, Abdul is a huge favorite, and with those odds he is the biggest favorite on this card. And Rafael is the underdog with plus 830. And in picks, all channels have picked Abdul. And for method of victory, most channels are expecting that he will win this fight by a KO or TKO, which is picked by 38 out of 43 channels for 88%, which is also the most likely outcome according to the odds makers with odds of minus 160. And the rest of the channels, 5, are predicting that he will win by a submission. And all 4 of the best method of victory predictors have him winning by a KO or TKO. Up next we have a fight between Bogdan Grad and Luke Riley in the featherweight division. Bogdan Grad has a mixed record of 2 wins and 2 losses out of his 4 fights in the UFC. And Luke Riley is making his UFC debut. And the newcomer to the UFC, Luke Riley, is the favorite with minus 270 in average odds and Bogdan Grad with plus 220, the underdog. And Luke Riley is also the favorite in picks by the YouTube Prediction Channels. 56 out of 70 are expecting that he will win this fight for 80%. And we see the exact same results in picks by the best predictors. 4 out of 5 are picking Luke Riley to win, also for 80%. But the best predictors on favorite fighters and odds have picked the favorite Luke Riley 100% for 5 out of 5. And the underdog Bogdan Grad is picked by the best underdog predictors 0 times out of 5. So they have no faith in this underdog. And for the method of victory, most channels are predicting Luke Riley to win by a KO or TKO, which is picked by 26 channels out of 47 for 55%. Not a single channel expects a submission win in this fight, and 7 channels are picking Bogdan Grad to win by a decision and 14 for Luke Riley. And 3 out of 4 of the best MOV predictors are going with a KO TKO win for Luke Riley, which is also the most likely outcome according to the odds makers with odds of plus 125. Then we go to the flyweight division for a fight between Alex Perez and Asu Amalbayev. And they have opposite results over the last 5 fights. Alex Perez lost 4 out of his last 5 fights, but Asu Amalbayev won 4 out of his last 5 fights. And the fighter that won 4 out of his last 5 fights, Asu Amalbayev, is the favorite with minus 205. And Alex Perez is the underdog with plus 170. Amalbayev is also the favorite in picks by the YouTube Prediction Channels with 53 out of 71 predicting he will win for 75%. And the best predictors have a 3 out of 5 for Asu Amalbayev. And the best favorite predictors have him winning 4 out of 5. And do any of the best underdog predictors have faith in the underdog Alex Perez? Well, not really. Only 1 out of 5 for 20%. And for the method of victory, we have 2 channels predicting a KO TKO win for Alex Perez. 6 channels are predicting a submission win for Asu Amalbayev, but most channels are seeing this fight going to the scorecards. With 4 for Alex Perez, but most of the channels are expecting Asu Amalbayev to win on the scorecards with 33 out of 45 for 73%. And the best MOV predictors 2 out of 4 also go with Asu Amalbayev via decision, which is also the most likely outcome according to the odds makers with odds of plus 110. And the next fight was between Sergey Spivak and Shamil Gaziev, but Sergey is out of the fight, so for those interested, here are the odds and picks for that cancelled fight, and also the method of victory predictions. But I found a last minute replacement for Sergey Spivak in Waldo Cortez Acosta, who's now fighting versus Shamil Gaziev, and both of them won 4 out of their last 5 fights. And the odds you see here on screen I've made up myself because there were no odds available for this fight yet, but I'm predicting Waldo Acosta to be a bigger favorite than this. And because this fight was just announced, I've only got 4 channels who made a pick, but all of them were for Waldo. And 1 channel picked him to win by a KO TKO and the other by a decision. But over the next 2 days I'll keep tracking more predictions, also for this fight. And you can get access to these updates by becoming a member on my Patreon. And the next fight is in the welterweight division between Jack Hermansson and Mick the Back Oralby. Jack Hermansson has a mixed record over his last 5 fights and won 2 out of 5. And he's 10 years older than his opponent Mick the Back Oralby, who has won 3 out of his last 4 fights. And the younger fighter Mick the Back Oralby is the favorite with minus 250 in average odds, and with plus 200 Jack Hermansson is the underdog. And Oralby is the big favorite in picks by the YouTube Prediction Channels. 59 out of 72 are expecting him to win this fight for 82%. But he's a bigger favorite in picks by the best predictors with 5 out of 5 for 100%. And also by the best favorite predictors 5 out of 5. And the underdog Jack Hermansson is picked by 0 out of 5 of the best underdog predictors. And for method of victory, 18 out of 45 channels are expecting Mick the Back Oralby to win by a KO or TKO for 40%. 4 channels see him winning via submission, and we have 5 channels picking Jack Hermansson to win by a decision, and 18 for Oralby via decision. So the most picked method of victory is a KO, TKO or a decision, both for 40%. But according to the odds makers, the most likely outcome in this matchup is a decision win for Oralby with odds of plus 155, and a KO TKO win has odds of plus 240. And the best MOV predictors are 1 out of 4 for back-to-back oral by a KO TKO, a submission or a decision. And the next fight is in the light heavyweight division between Volkan Oezdemir and Alonso Manifield. And both of them have won 3 out of their last 5 fights. The favorite fighter in odds is Volkan Oezdemir with minus 230 and with plus 190 Alonso Manifield is the underdog. Although Volkan Oezdemir is not such a big favorite in average odds, he is a big favorite in picks by the YouTube Prediction Channels. 62 out of 72 channels have picked him to win for 86%. And the best predictors have him winning 4 out of 5 and the best favorite predictors 5 out of 5 for 100%. And 0 out of 5 of the best underdog predictors are picking Alonso Manifield to win. So they have no faith in this underdog. And for the method of victory, most channels are predicting a KO TKO win for Volkan Oezdemir, which is picked by 34 out of 50 channels for 68%. And we have 4 channels picking a KO TKO win for Alonso Manifield. 0 channels are expecting a submission win in this fight. And we have 10 channels predicting a decision win for Oezdemir and 2 for Manifield. But the best method of victory predictors are split. 2 out of 4 predict a KO TKO win for Oezdemir and 2 out of 4 predict a KO TKO win for Manifield. But according to the odds makers, the most likely outcome for this fight is a KO TKO win for Volkan Oezdemir with odds of plus 130. And for the co-main event, we have a fight between Belal Muhammad and Ian Machado Gary in the welterweight division. Belal Muhammad won 4 out of his last 5 fights, and his last fight that he lost was against the previous champion Jack Della Maddalena, where he lost the belt, which is now in the hands of Islam Makhachev. And Ian Gary also won 4 out of his last 5 fights, all via decision. And in this matchup, Ian Gary is a pretty big favorite with minus 275. And the previous champion, Belal Muhammad, is the underdog with plus 220. And also, most of the YouTube prediction channels, 58 out of 72, predict Ian Gary to win for 80%. And also, the best predictors have him winning 4 out of 5 for 80%. But he's even a bigger favorite in picks by the best favorite predictors with 100% for 5 out of 5. And the underdog, Belal Muhammad, is picked by 0 best underdog predictors. So none of them have faith in the previous champion. And for the method of victory predictions, we have 4 channels going with Ian Gary winning by KO TKO. 0 are going with a submission win in this fight, and we have 7 channels going with Belal Muhammad to win via decision, but most of the channels are picking Ian Gary to win via decision, which is picked by 34 channels out of 45 for 75%. And 3 out of 4 of the best MOV predictors also predict a decision win for Ian Gary. And also, according to the odds makers, this is the most likely outcome with average odds of minus 117. And for the main event of the evening, we go to the lightweight division for a fight between Arman Tsarukyan and Dan Hooker. Arman has won 4 out of his last 5 fights, but his last fight in the UFC was 1.5 years ago. And Dan Hooker won 3 out of his last 5 fights. And in this matchup, Arman Tsarukyan is a huge favorite with minus 545 in average odds, and Dan Hooker the underdog with plus 405. And also in picks, Arman Tsarukyan is a huge favorite. 69 out of 72 channels pick him to win for 96%. And the best predictors have him winning 4 out of 5 for 80%, and the best favorite predictors pick him 5 out of 5 for 100%. And the underdog Dan Hooker is picked by 0 out of 5 best underdog predictors. So almost no one is giving Dan Hooker a chance to win against Arman. And for the method of victory, we have 19 channels out of 45 predicting a KO TKO win for Arman. 16 channels are going with a submission win, and 10 have predicted Arman Tsarukyan to win via decision. And the best method of victory predictors see him winning via submission 3 out of 4. But according to the odds makers, the most likely outcome for this fight is a KO TKO win for Arman Tsarukyan with odds of plus 150. And after that, a decision win with plus 225, and then a submission win with plus 350. And for the best betting opportunities, I have the following 3 fighters. The first one is Denzel Freeman. He is the favorite with minus 200, but is picked by the best predictors 4 out of 4 and the best favorite predictors 5 out of 5. And to get better odds than the minus 200 moneyline odds, if you bet them to win by a KO or TKO, you can get odds of plus 135, which is picked by 2 out of 4 of the best method of victory predictors. The next fighter is Kyoji Horiguchi, who is the underdog with plus 165, but is picked by the best predictors 4 out of 5 and also by the best underdog predictors 4 out of 5. So for this underdog, you already have nice plus odds for his moneyline. But if you have him winning via decision, you have better odds of plus 250. And the last best betting opportunity for this card is back-to-back oral buy. who is a pretty decent favorite with minus 250, but is picked 5 out of 5 by the best predictors and by the best favorite predictors for 100%. And if you want better than the minus 250 moneyline odds, you can get plus 240 if you have him winning by a KO or TKO, or plus 155 if you have him winning via decision, which is picked by 18 channels out of 44 for both methods. But as I said before in this video, over the next coming days more predictions are coming in. And when more predictions have been tracked, which also include predictions from the best predictors and the best favorite and underdog predictors and the best MOV predictors, the best betting opportunities might change or look different altogether. And to get access to the latest daily up-to-date picks and supporting the channel, consider becoming a member on my Patreon, where you get access to daily updates with the latest up-to-date picks. That was it for the overview of all predictions for UFC Qatar, Tsarukyan vs Hooker. I hope you enjoyed it and found it informative. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, which helps the channel a lot. Thank you so much for watching, have a great weekend and enjoy the fights. And see you again in the next video.